I'm Denise Imbo with Vote Squamish Election 2011, and we're here speaking with Ron Bahm, candidate for mayor. I'm with Ron Bahm, and we're here he's a second mayoral candidate, and here's to talk about his campaign to become our next mayor. So welcome, Mr. Bahm.
Thank you very much.
So for those of people who are just meeting you for the first time, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
I'm a average Squamish citizen, construction worker, at street level with the people, the majority of Squamish residents, and I have the managerial skills to pull us off.
How long have you lived in Squamish?
14 years.
And what type of managerial experience do you have?
Construction superintendent, construction manager, and I've been a foreman on every job I've been on ever since I was 20.
And okay, so when a man, an average man walking along the street, decides he wants to run for mayor, there's typically a reason. And so what is your reason for pulling yourself out, putting your hat in the ring and saying, I want to be your next mayor?
Inactivity, no progress. I ran 9 years ago. Sure, I was naive and, unsure myself, but now I got it dialed in, and there's no progress. There's no jobs. The community is slowly, losing its spark, and we need a transplant or a blood transfusion. So we need to change everybody, new blood.
Okay, so you're the spark that we need. This community is the spark that we need. That's what you're going to tell us. So what will you do to add spark to our council?
We'll just have the firmness that's going to take to invite development and business to town, and have a just show that we're here to do business.
Okay, so give me some examples of that, Mr. Bahm, because every candidate has said precisely the same thing. Council and mayoral, you've all said that. You are the only one who's talked about a spark. But so every candidate has said that. What are you truly going to do to change the way business is done at City Halls?
Well, we're going to round up everybody at City Hall, and we're going to have a big powwow, and we're going to decipher what direction we're heading. And we're going to stop bleeding the developers and builders so that they stop wasting money on lawyers and stuff and studies, and put that money towards jobs. If a development's going, the developers paying wages to the citizens to do the job.
Okay, let me ask you another question. Let's talk about perhaps trails, because that's where a community that's very excited and passionate about our trails, and we're passionate about our arts. So we'll talk about those two things. So trails, what are you thinking there?
Well, yeah, they're great for the community. They'll bring new people to the community, and visitors alike will enjoy them. But if City Hall is impeding the progress of this community, it just doesn't work.
So when you say impeding the progress, is that again with the development construction, or is that impeding the progress of the trails?
Well, you're impeding both, because if you don't have development, you don't have more tax revenue, you have less to give to the trails. I mean, if we all work together in the same direction and not trying to, everybody go for whatever grab they can have just for their project, let's all vote for a change. And you cannot have increased tax base without increased making the community larger. So there's no extra money. I mean, taxes will keep going up, and if you don't have increased tax base, you don't have extra money to dole out to all those groups.
Okay, so your answer is growth, and that's what you're saying. Let's get development going. Let's build some more. Right now, we do have a bit of an inventory where we don't have. We have lots of empty buildings, things that are built that we don't have people in there. Do we have to fill those first, or do we just keep building?
Well, we have to change the atmosphere from City Hall. Once we totally change that, then it'll spark up those developers. I mean, they sit on their hands and they won't spend money for a certain period of time. But after they still have to make money with their money. So once you portray that the town is open, that stockpile of empty units will fill. I'm not saying it's going to happen overnight, but as soon as the light turns on, they'll come.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, the last council has done a number of things with the Service Squamish Initiative and others that have sort of promoted an open for business concept. And they've done some changes that have been fairly radical. Do you agree with those changes, or would you believe in going in a different change? And I guess I'm questioning you a little bit because, again, I'd like to know how it is we're really going to make these changes and what can be done. I've been hearing the same thing for 20 years, 30 years. So what is going to change with you at the helm that hasn't happened before? And I mean, just having the attitude or the will to do it, I don't buy that, sir. I think there has to be some other plan. What is the plan?
Well, that's the whole thing. People don't buy it. But if I get elected, it's going to be by the 6,000 people that didn't vote last time.
Okay.
And those are the heart and soul of this community. And once you, I lost that question. That's
okay. I'm saying, what will you do to make a change that we haven't been able to make? This last council has made a lot of really strong changes. They had $1 million surplus. They've lowered industrial taxes. They've had the Service Squamish Initiative. They've done a number of things to make it a tighter ship. And they're moving, in my view, they've moved the direction, they moved the needle, and that's something that hasn't happened for a long time. What are you going to be able to do? Are you going to continue in that direction of move? Are you going to change it in a different direction? And how are you effectively going to be able to do that when traditionally this is a problem with municipal government? Well,
obviously they've done a lot of work and it's in the right direction. It might just need some tweaking. Mm-hmm. It's the portrayal that we're open for business. You see all the election signs, and we've heard all the promises, but not all of those signs come with strings attached. But anybody who's getting their signs paid for by different interest groups tug on those strings, and they control things that they shouldn't be controlling. And so I'm running here. I'm not. Nobody's backing me. I'm looking for the vote from the average citizen that I can make it happen. So they either believe that it's going to happen, or we get this little bit of the same old thing. We could have play musical chairs with the same councillors and go on for another 3 years.
Well, I respect that you are an independent voice. I respect that. And I also admire anybody who runs for council at any level or mayor, because I think it takes a lot of courage to do that. And you said you ran a few terms ago and you were naive then. Why are you... tell me about the naivete. What has changed with you in the last few years that makes you not naive?
Confidence. I'm able to uplift people. I'm able to get people to do more work than they think they're even capable of. So you work within the community. So all those groups that are in the dormant state that have given up, we spark those up and start from there. I mean, you have to start at the bottom. Everybody's looking to the top. Nobody's got their ear to the ground to see the state of the majority of the citizens. So start at the bottom. I mean, we have a drug problem that everybody seems to, the secret. It used to be the dirty little secret, and you got to bring it to the forefront. It's part of our problem, and so we start working that way with the community groups and policing and that stuff, and busing, and you don't have to go do big things and spend a lot of money. We start with things that don't take a lot of money, and then just once there's action there, and then you get the little buzz going. That's what starts it all.
Mm-hmm. Well, I do hope we get a buzz, and I hope we get some action. But you'd mentioned two big ticket items and said they don't have to cost a lot of money. But the two items you mentioned were policing and transit. And those are two really big ticket items on our council budget. So do you want to speak about either of those?
Well, you say that the policing is a big budget item, but you know what I mean? Like, if we have 28 break-ins downtown, you don't eliminate two police officers' positions. You add two. And, you know, how many people in Squamish have had their bicycles stolen in the last week, let alone the tourists with their cash and their cameras and you know, damaging their car and whatnot. And so I don't see it as a big ticket item, but we have to embrace it, and the community has to pitch in. 6 police officers on the site can't police this many people, and so you know, the community has to work together to you know what I mean. There'll be groups formed, and you know, we'll have to get some money for special projects.
Mm-hmm. So a safer communities and communities working together is what you're saying, but you're saying don't come back on policing. Let's just keep that going. Let's talk about transit. How do you feel about transit? Because that's a hot button item in our community, and people say the transit is not good enough. Others say it's a very expensive item. How do you balance those two desires?
Well, obviously it's not good. You know, I've seen people standing at a bus stop for 4 hours on a Sunday, just not wanting to leave because they think they might miss the bus, and yeah, it is a you know. But there again, you have to increase your tax base, and once you increase the tax base, that's where you'll get the money from to increase the busing. As far as the commuter bus going up to Whistler, we'll just have to privatize something right now in the interim, and you know, get those people up there.
Okay. So, Mr. Bahm, you have a big job ahead of you because you're wanting the vote of those who don't typically vote. And you want to get them off their seat and out to the polls, and I think that's admirable. How are we going to do that? How are we going to get to those people, reach out to those people and say, you need to vote, you need to pay attention, and you need to pay attention to me? How are you going to do that?
Well, the people that know who I am and know what I'm about will start talking. There'll be a little bit buzz going on. Spread the, you know, I've had a business back east and for 9 years, and it was word of mouth. So word of mouth works fast, and with the social media is the way it is. You know, that's the way it is. I don't have the money to put up all those fancy signs, and I don't like the strings that come attached to them. So this is their chance. If they ever wanted to make a change, you know, they don't vote because they don't have anybody to vote for. So now I'm giving you somebody to vote for, and it's their, you know, this is your chance. So you either, you know what I mean. I come to you speaking as an honest, hardworking man, and if that's what it takes to get into there, that's all I can do.
Well, good for you. And actually, a lot of people don't like those signs anyways. I actually was reading on a social media site recently where they said, I'd vote for the person who didn't have a sign. So you're doing the uncampaign here with the no sign. Vote for me if you don't want a sign. Vote for me if you've never voted before. Vote for me if you want a safer community. Is that correct? Vote for me if you want to say City Hall is open for business. What else would you like to tell the people of Squamish? We all look to, you know, lawyers and businessmen and car salesmen, well, honest car salesmen, and to do, you know, what we think is right. But the solution is actually in the community. We are the solution. You just need the catalyst to put it all together to make it happen. Okay. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate your time today, and we wish you the best of luck in your campaign. And congratulations for stepping up to the plate one more time. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you for tuning in to our segment on Ron Bahm for mayor. All mayoral candidates are on mysquamish.com, so we invite you to come back here and check out all the election coverage on Vote Squamish Election 2011.